Hello, welcome back to the Evolve podcast with me, Lewis, and my beautiful chocolate man, Sam. Sam, how's it going, man?
Ooh, I'm good. I like that one.
Yeah. Every week it's going to be something different. Some weeks I might be a dickhead. Who knows? But I'll make you feel nice today.
Man. Yeah.
But yeah, you
Thank you.
you had a nice holiday. I mean, after one episode, you had to go away. Jesus, but you know,
It was so stressful, man. After such hard work of just turning up on camera and then leaving you to edit everything, it was just so mentally draining. You know, funnily enough, my brain was dead after that day. After our first episode, my brain was completely switched off, bro. Like, I was literally just sat there, like, I don't want to talk anymore. I don't want to be seen. But I think because in my head, like, when we do this, especially because I can see, like, we're recording ourselves, I'm not just talking to you. I feel like I'm talking to, like, millions of people. So then back in my head, I've basically just, like, spent all my social battery on absolutely all my imaginary friends. Like, I just sit back and I'm like, okay, I'm tired now. That was enough energy spent.
That goes quite nicely into what I was going to say, because I was going to ask you, like, how did you feel after recording the first one? And I feel like you kind of touched on that. And for me, it was going through all the footage and seeing all the waffle and the things that I had to tweak. And again, I was in the mind of, this is going out to millions of people and it has to be perfect. But at the same time, it is the first impression. So it was important to me to make sure that it was clean as we could make it. But it felt good. I think we've got a good workflow going. I mean, we haven't even posted the episode yet. I think after 5 episodes we'll post the first one. So that's all your stuff. I'm just making sure we.
That's where I come in. That's how I screw this up for all of us.
Yeah, mine is just editing and PR, because we can't get cancelled, and that's basically it. And we just got to keep the momentum of making sure people listen. So yeah, I got a new mic. I got like these sound panels, because like a lot of sound comes through my door. So yesterday, putting all these sound panels on my door. So I've kind of gone full Lewis about it, because you know, I can't just pick up a new hobby and just start off slow. I have to get the best equipment and the best of everything. So I get all the gear from the jump. So so all this to just put out 5 episodes and call it.
That's actually crazy. When you deep it, it's just like, was it worth it? Hopefully. But yeah, actually,
I mean, to be fair, it was a bit of a sound issue anyway. But
when did you?
It was needed.
You can beep it if we don't want to like give away free sponsorship. Or was it like an Amazon purchase?
It was. You know what? Yeah, it was an Amazon purchase.
Come on, bro! I've got an Amazon affiliate system. We'll make the money. We make the money.
Yeah.
We'll put the link somewhere. Who wants Lewis's sound panels? If they're shit, Lewis, how could you not?
I mean, to be fair, it's quite peak, because my flatmates are gone today, so I don't even need them, because there's going to be no noise. So I kind of wanted to test because when football's on, they usually scream and all that sort of stuff.
I don't want to go too wayward, but I'm going to make enemies with this comment. The football players don't know you. When people make comments like, we scored today, who is we? They were on the pitch playing. You watched them score. When you say we won, it's not we won. They won. You watched them win. And when they say stuff like, oh, our players and this and that, or oh, he should have done that. Oh, it's crazy because you're not a football manager. Oh, it's crazy because I don't see you doing anything like running. The fuck, man? It pisses me off endlessly when I listen to football fans go on and on about how this happened. And they're so fickle. I'm just going to vent and then we can get back with this podcast. Like, one day they love a guy. The other day, I'm watching you roast his wife and son on Twitter. You're horrible. Like, what the fuck is it? There's no consistency in this. Damn. Okay, I'm good now. I'm good. I just have to get that on my chest, because football, I get it. I get the love. I get that you grew up with it. I get that you have like family relations. You made friends watching football. Good for you, but that's a line, man.
Sweat.
Just had to get off the chest.
I do hear. Anyway. To be fair, they the mic is actually pretty good. Turns out last week, because apparently they watching football. Apparently they were making noise. I can't hear anything because of these headphones anyway.
I don't hear nothing.
And it didn't pick up anything.
Yeah.
So that's not giving. By the way, Ricky and Nate, that's not permission to make more noise. By the way, because you know. please.
I just start
I'm just
banging on the door, like,
I'm just putting out in the clear. There's going to be like, we
That's
scored. Jesus. Let's just move on. Let's just move.
Yes.
So it's quite interesting because you went on a holiday and you said you find it hard to take a break.
It was a different perception on this holiday, you know. So I do hate taking breaks, and I think I hate it when I'm like, because I hyper focus on stuff, and once I've got like a project in mind, or I'm on like something. Let's say I've got to build a website, I've got like update the business model, whatever it is I've got to do, right? Once I'm in that flow, I hate breaking it. And there's usually like a holiday pending. And in my head, I'm just like, oh, I'm going to have to stop. I'm going to have to break my flow, go on holiday, and then like come back to it. But that holiday basically feels like I'm stopping myself from success by like gallivanting on some beach somewhere and like taking Instagram pics. I'm looking at that like, ain't none of that going to make me money. Like, the fuck am I doing? And it's not relaxing for me because I'm stressed knowing that I've still got shit to do. So that's why I hated holidays. This holiday was different because I actually took my laptop with me. I took my laptop with me thinking, well, if the fiance's sleeping and I'm already awake and I'm thinking about doing work, then I could just do work. And I didn't do anything. I genuinely just relaxed when I could. Like, and it was weird. And I think it's because because when I go on holiday, usually I force myself to relax. Whereas this time, because I had everything with me as an excuse to work, it's almost like the option was there for me if I want to do work or not, and it was my choice to relax. So it was definitely a different take, and I'm really happy I tried it. I was sweating, I'm not going to lie, because I see the way they throw suitcases in baggage claim and all that stuff. I see the way, like, your suitcase. I've seen the videos of robots just, like, playing ping pong with your suitcase.
Man.
And then, like, my guy in the high vis just grabs it and, like... And I was just, in my head, I was like, that's my laptop. That's my world. That's my life. Like, this laptop is personally built for me.
Hand luggage?
I did on the way there. On the way back, I put it in. Because on the way back, I was just like... I want to put like souvenirs and shit, or like some more stuff in my hand luggage.
Okay.
So I put my laptop.
But yeah, I was.
Anyway, but yeah, it was relaxing. My feet hurt. A lot of walking, like a lot. Jesus. So I let my fiance. Well, I'm quite lazy when it comes to planning holidays because once again, I'm not a big fan of them, so I don't put as much effort into preparation for them. So she plans everything mostly. Like she'll plan what like tour we'll do, where we go, the place we got to visit. The downside is like this girl can walk. This girl can walk to save the whole of humanity if need be. And on average, every holiday, we're doing 15,000 steps a day. On that, and that's just like a chill day of like, oh, let's go to here. And it's constant. My ankles, like I'm turning 30 soon and I can feel it. My body's telling me I'm turning 30 soon. Like my left ankle, my whole left side just hurts. And every step, I can just feel pain. I'm trying to like grit and bear and be like,
you're breaking. Partner. You're breaking. Yeah. You're actually breaking.
I'm falling apart. And that was torture, I'm not going to lie. So I think that might also be why, like, when we came back to the hotel room, I had no energy to do work. I just wanted to sleep. But every chance I got, I slept or rested. So, yeah.
That's good, though. I think it's because you had the choice of not doing work.
Definitely.
And because if you had left your laptop and things at home, you then have, goggins in your head.
Yeah.
Stay forward. What are you doing? Work and all that sort of stuff. But because you actually had your laptop there, and you could have done it if you wanted to. I think it removes the pressure for you to.
I think so. 100%.
To actually relax, which is I'm glad you relaxed, man, because you're a bit of a workaholic.
I am, and I needed it. I did find a new car that I want to get. I did find a new car.
What? Yeah. That's not what you do on holiday. You just chill with your fiance, man.
I chilled, and then whilst we were like in some store in the middle of Seville, I was just like,
it's good to have goals.
I got an ad from Lotus, and then you know what was mad? So the ads you get is obviously based on like the type of content you consume, as well as certain ads are based on like your actual ability to purchase items. They go for like they look at the stuff you buy. They look like. Some TV ads, for example, will be based on like how affluent you are and all this stuff, or the area you live in. So I've not always got bougie ads. Like I used to get like Sainsbury's discounts, and then one day I got Morrison's, but I'm pretty sure that's a fluke. And like I always got like Aldi doing something. That kind of stuff was like the ads I was getting because that matched my budget at the time. And then we were walking around Seville, and then out of nowhere I got an ad for Lotus. like an electric Lotus, and like my face is like, oh, we up now. I'm getting
Oh,
Lotus
so
ads.
now, so you want this new car because an ad made you feel
Instagram told
nice.
me to. Yep. I ain't got no shame in it.
So you basically got chance by Instagram, be like, wow, this big strong man could definitely afford me, and you felt like hot shit.
They slid into my DMs, looked to my bank account, went, "You broke, but don't worry, you can still touch." I'm just like, you can
manifest this.
I can manifest this. Okay, and now it's my dream car. So that's the car we're gonna get. So
you know what?
I will get this car as well. I will get it. I have to tell myself I will.
Fine. It's it's good to have goals, man. And if that's
thank you.
If that's what works for you, then that's for you. So
how about you, Lewis?
In terms of
what did you do?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it's actually been a good week, marathon training aside, because I had to do another 20-mile yesterday. So, I can definitely sympathize with your little mousy boy 15K steps that keep you sore.
Oh my god!
Oh, my little 15K. Yeah. Walks
on average, man.
It's okay. It's okay if you want to be out. It's okay if you want to do average steps. It's okay. It's cool.
Mean, they tell you to open up to your friends, and then you have friends like this, and just like, what's even the point? Like,
I'm messing you.
Might as well keep to myself next time, then.
I'm sorry. But no, it's been quite good. Obviously we recorded the first pod this time last week. That was really good. Getting used to Riverside, which is where we record the pod on. So that was the first focus for probably the first 3 nights, just to get used to. I think I've watched the first pod about 5 times, to be completely honest with you.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible when you have to watch it.
Yeah, because I know all the fillers that I use, and I hate it, and I'm really conscious about myself. So, and I know that my boys are going to utilize this and roast me for about 5 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that whenever we drop the first one. But yeah, that was good to kind of work through, kind of cut. In terms of for the company for Xander, I've done a few emails over the past couple of weeks that are now kind of manifesting into something. So I've reached out to 2 people who I found on YouTube who had made videos. One was how he became a video editor for Netflix, and another one was a guy who's actually done film trailers, produced his own films, things like that, and he actually previously worked at Universal Studios as well. So I emailed both of them to kind of get advice, feedback, jump on a call, that sort of stuff. And of course, if they ever want to do any sort of work that I can do for them, let me know. So I'll start first with the Netflix guy. So he came back, which is a miracle in itself, because I wasn't expecting anything. And he actually has like a newsletter that he sends out. For those interested, it's Standard Story Co. is his Instagram, YouTube. In this video, it has like 1.5 million views, I think. So I wasn't expecting to hear from this guy, because I'm sure he gets people emails all the time. He basically says he has enough editors as it is, but he actually referred me to a previous newsletter that he did for how to network as a editor and in the film industry. And he basically said that for video editors in particular, they usually are quite introverted as it is, and they usually only focus on the craft. A lot of them don't know how to network and have any business skills. And I kind of had an inkling of this because I spoke to a film producer a couple of months ago, and he again had repeated this same sort of skill set that editors kind of have. So what I'm beginning to learn is that I have quite a, not to say I'm hot shit, but I have quite a unique skill stack for a video editor, because a lot of them don't know how to negotiate, outreach, email, network, that sort of, because they tend to be quite shy and just focused on the skill set and the knowledge, not the stuff that surrounds that. So he said to continue doing what I'm doing, reaching out to people. He said that he emailed 2 people a day for about 6 months. So me being me, I'm like, cool, I'm going to email 3 people each day. 'Cause I'm gonna... So with that, yeah, I've set kind of a plan in place. Got IMDb Pro to kind of find people, because you can actually get these editors. Either they'll have a talent agency or they'll have their business email. So I'm going to use that in addition to LinkedIn to build a contact list, and I'm going to work my way through that to reach out to people, continue to ask for advice and chats, and yeah, kind of grow my own network. The other guy, the film editor, from Universal Studios, he got back to me, and I'm going to have a call with him on Tuesday.
Right.
And it was very funny, because it was like, yeah, call me at 12 p.m. on Tuesday. And I was like, what time zone are you in? Because obviously you're American, and so I'm calling him 7 p.m. Tuesday. So hopefully I have half an hour of his time. So yeah, I'll let you know how that goes.
Use it wisely, bro.
Use it wisely. So I'm going to ask him a ton of questions, and basically ask him what are the rare, valuable skills that I need to kind of get to where I want to go to. Yeah, questions of that ilk. So it's been more of a business development week as opposed to an editing week. It's kind of been a combination of the two. The game plan is just to keep honing video editing skills, continue to email, get to know people. So yeah, it's been quite a good week, and it kind of led to. I kind of want to ask you this as well: who you know and what you know. What are your perceptions on this?
I will say, it really is. It really is a fine mix of both. So
I agree.
I don't know. It could be. You know, I'm a black man, and certain white folks just look at me and think, "You're big, tall, black hoodlum. Don't come near me." I don't know. It could be that. But I do find that I have for the opportunities I have. You know, I have a nice car, a BMW i4. I'm proud of it. Comes with my job, all this stuff. And for everything I have, I've been able to maintain it with what I know. But I've owned a lot of the jobs I've had. I've started it through who I know. And I think it's rare. I think it's the only time, it's very rare that I've got into anything without first developing some kind of relationship with someone that works there, or some kind of connection with someone that's in that environment without jumping in. I've rarely ever got an opportunity for the sake of, I've handed my CV and followed the path, not talked to anyone, just simply followed the path. Done like I've really done that. Everywhere I've gone, handed my CV, and anywhere I've worked for, I hand my CV in, yes. But whilst I'm like waiting for a response, I'll try and develop a relationship with someone that works there, that's in the environment. So then my name is in someone's head. So then if it comes to like, we've got this applicant, they see my name. I remember Sam, and it's almost like the behavior I try to encourage is put people in a position where they have an investment in you, in your success. So if I develop a relationship with them and they're like, I know you, it's kind of like, okay, now like, because I know this person, he's a really nice guy, because I honestly do try to be approachable, nice. They kind of go, well, like, I want to help this person do well, because I'm a nice person too. And it kind of rolls off the back of that. So quite a lot of the opportunities I've had is because like I'll develop a rapport with someone, whether it's the HR person that's taking my application in, whether it's like a manager of the team I'm joining, anything like that. I try to develop that, just to give myself that advantage. But once you're in that environment, it stops being about who you are, who you know. It stops being about what you know. No, it starts being about what you know, sorry. And the reason being is that once you get into certain spaces, the person you knew who got you the job isn't the only person you've got to like have a good relationship with to maintain your role there, or to maintain the respect you need to achieve what you want. This depends on the type of job you do. So like, if you're like, no offense to anyone, but if you're like lower level, so you do like the production, just bare minimum, like make updates to the website for example, or like you're like, I don't know, you're more of like a doing role. Like you're not in a position where you're like to be innovative or like come up with new ideas. If you're in that kind of position, it is who you know will get you far, because it's just like, you just got to do the bare minimum. The work might not require a lot of skill or talent, so just knowing someone can like get you the pay rise, it can get you there. As long as you do the bare minimum, no one cares, right? Yeah. But when you get into the high level roles, like I'm a product manager professionally, it requires a lot of like innovative thinking, a lot of skills around it. What you know comes more into play, because who you know can only vouch for getting you into the role. After that, it's based on like the after impacts of your work, what you do, how it benefits the business, and the judges for that kind of work isn't just the person you know. It's not just the CEO. It's not just a director. It's the other teams that have to like action your work. It's the other teams that have to like do the compliance tests and all these things. There's loads of stakeholders in the thing you do when you're in an innovative role or like more of a thinking role. So then you have to have the skills to maintain their respect, because they're not going to look at you. And if anything, if they look at you to go, oh, CEO got him a job, sometimes the judgment criteria is even higher, because they're looking at you like, it's almost like they're looking for an excuse to be like, oh, no nepotism here, please. Like, get out. Like, you could do like the exact same quality as someone else who's been there for 5 years, but because you're not doing a little bit more, they're already going like, oh, you're only here because X person gave you your job, not because you're good at it. So you almost have to like really have some strong skills when you're in those positions. So yeah, I hope that kind of like answers it, but I think it's a fine balance, but it depends on the level of thinking essentially you've got to do the job.
Yeah. I hear you. I think it's definitely industry dependent for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Because
100%.
Because for me, I think there's another sort of arc that I'm only just kind of thinking of in my head, because obviously it's who you know, what you know, but I think your ability to get to know has to be in there. Like in your examples that you have said, you didn't actually know these people, you got to know them.
No, I got to know them. Yeah.
And I think that's the missing piece of the puzzle.
I think you're right.
And I think your ability to get to know is probably the most important part. And because going into for what I want to do in film editing, I'm getting my skills up and I'm honing my skills. I know that there are going to be video editors who are going to be 10 times better than me, right? But I know that because I have the ability to go and network, and I'm not afraid to kind of put myself out there as much as a typical video editor, I would be more likely to get better opportunities. Once my skills are up to a professional level, there are video editors who I know could do a better job than me, but because they don't get to know, they won't get the same opportunities. I'm not saying I could get these opportunities right now, but my advice would be for anyone who's an editor is to kind of have that skill to outreach, message someone who is, like for example, I LinkedIn messaged someone who they're like an assistant editor at Netflix, and just DM them, just asking for advice. What did you do to get to this position? Things like that. And I think if you're quite introverted, you could be the best person in the room at that particular skill, e.g. video editing. But someone else who is at a lower level, who has the initiative to outreach, ask questions, and kind of, ask their way to success, will get better opportunities because you didn't take the initiative to do those extra things.
I've been in that exact position before. I worked in the previous company I worked in. I was a production specialist, and there was another guy who did the same job as me, and that was quite a low-level job, admittedly. It's kind of just updating changes to a website. And I've always been a go-getter. I'm always like making connections within business and getting to know people. I'm always doing more than what my job requires me to do, because I'm trying to add value to why I'm there, and I'm trying to open a door to actually achieve more in the company. And this other guy was more of a position, well, I've been here X amount of time, so my time here means that I deserve more than you. And I kind of looked at it, well, that's not fair, because I can't control time. I can't go back in time and make sure I got the job before you. What I can control is that I go 110% in. I do the best work I can, and then I do more for other teams to try and build up relationships and move out into a better paying role, into a more challenging role for myself. It got to a point where this guy almost got jealous that I was actually doing well, and then started like kicking off, like, oh, how come he gets this opportunity? How come he gets that? And what I looked at it was like, my guy, you just sit there and do your day job and go home. That's all. And you're waiting for someone to like, some magical fairy to come down and be like, oh, magical chosen one who's been here for 3 years. Because you've been here for 3 years, here's a pot of gold. Keep doing the basic stuff you're doing, and we'll give you another pot. We'll give you everything. Like, you know what? That promotion, we'll go and drag it down for you. And because you've been sat at your desk for 3 years, we'll give it to you. And obviously that wasn't the way it was. And I was in a position in the company where every year I actually got promotion. I moved up and I moved up. And unfortunately for him, I think he has actually become more. He's become more accountable for his actions. He's actually doing a little better now. And unfortunately for him, whilst he was doing that job, I got 3-4 promotions by the time I left the company. And he's still admittedly doing like a job that's around that level, but now it's more challenging. And he started pushing himself forward. What I learned from that situation was that for him, his like trigger point to do better was unfortunately like some kind of jealousy or some kind of insecurity around the fact that I was working out. But at the very least, I still talk to him now, like nice guy. At the very least, he's actually pushing himself now. But what that would put someone else in a position like mine is that you kind of sit there questioning, is it worth doing this work? Because it might upset someone. Simple answer to that is, who cares what they think? Do it for you. Like, push yourself. That's what you need to. But the most important thing I learned in that journey is choosing the right people to be your friends and maintaining good connections with the right people. Now, that team wasn't as healthy for me, and it was a blessing I left it. But I will say that the other caveat to that was, whilst I was kind of going around the company, meeting people, trying to find new opportunities, I met a lot of amazing people that to this day, I trust them. I trust them till the end of the world. Like, they're amazing humans. They're all doing big things as well, which is great. I'm trying not to name drops so I don't like name the company and get people in trouble or anything like that. But yeah, looking back at it now, because not only did I push for my own success, I also pushed to maintain good friendships. I also pushed to maintain the trust those who gave me the opportunities had in me. I'm now in a position where I still have those connections, and if all goes to crap, I can always like get in touch with them and try and salvage some opportunities again and keep myself going. The most important thing is not being selfish about it, and also doing something for those people that get you to where you want to. So I know you said about it's not just who you know, it's what you know, and then the other person is get to know. I think being able to actually maintain the relationships with the who you know and the get to knows is even more important, because being able to maintain that means that good news about you spreading. If not, it's a small world. People will start to get to know you as a dickhead who just uses people and keeps it stepping very quickly. And do you know how I know that? Because I have a long list of dickheads in my head that I know not to work with because they do exactly that. And I know I have that list because the people I know have a similar list as well of, don't work with that guy. He's just going to use it.
And if it matches up, you're like, well.
Exactly. When it matches up, it's like, there's a track record going on here. You see what I mean? So it is like that in the world.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it's interesting, man, because it's always something which kind of pops into my head, and I think a lot of people have that skill of getting to know, because I don't think that you need. I think it's very easy to look at someone and think that they have all the connections that they need to do whatever it is that they're doing. But I think it's, again, like you're saying, maintaining those relationships and also having the skill set and the knowledge. Maintaining those connections, I think, is something that I'm getting a lot better at now. Because there have been some introductions that I have, and it's always the follow-up that I think I struggle with, because if I've asked them a bunch of questions that have been really helpful, I know that I sometimes struggle with that because I want to provide value back, but I'm not at a point where I think I can provide much value back because I'm at that beginning level of stage. It's now getting to a point where in my email, I will say X, Y, and Z, introduce myself, and also offer video editing if there's anything that I can do to help, like with like cutting through raw footage, things like that. That's value that I can give back if you need it. So it's now getting to a point where I'm trying to do some sort of exchange. But I think when you're networking and you're reaching out to someone who's much higher in terms of a career path than you currently are, it's difficult trying to find the value in exchange, because that's how I think it should be. Of course, you can be very transparent and say, look, I really need help. You are someone who I've noticed is at a position where I wish to get to. Can you help me out? Or ask these, can I spare 5 minutes of your time to for you to answer these questions?
Yeah.
It's now getting to a point where, because I'm being very specific about who I'm going to in email outreach and LinkedIn, IMDb, that sort of stuff, it's now getting to that point where I'm trying to exchange value. So that's something which I'm thinking about a bit more. But in terms of maintaining like relationships when you're following up, when you're networking, how do you go about that? Because I'm actually genuinely intrigued.
I am terrible with maintaining relationships with people if I'm not in constant communication with them. And I think like my friendship with you and many of our friends is testament to that. Like if we don't have a topic to talk about regularly, I'm terrible with like texting people. If anyone's like, I've got a birthday party coming though, I'll be there. Like I will be there wherever it is in the country. I will be there to like make sure that your numbers are up. I'm one of those numbers. I'll get you drinks, all that. But in terms of, because I'm always like hyper focused on something, I'm not the best at constantly keeping in communication with people. One thing I do try to do though is make sure if anyone needs my help and I'm able to give them that, I'm there. As long as like that person is obviously giving that same thing back to me, I'm always there to make sure I can support, because that's at the very least, that's the best thing I can do. When it comes from like a business sense, maintaining relationships with people, I always keep an open line of communication with a lot of the people I work with from business contact, whether we've had like, whether like the initial conversation went dead on that topic's no longer like valid. For example, we'll have a partner that wants to work with us on Anxious Extrovert to like get their well-being brand on Hub, right? And that conversation will go cold, and sometimes it doesn't work out. And it could go like, okay, well, that there's no reason for us to keep talking. We're not friends anymore. Or mine is kind of like, there might be other opportunities we might have in the future. And if I've got free time to support you with the stuff you're doing, I'll do that. And one of them was I kind of jumped on a call and we talked about how to improve the SEO of their website, those kind of things. I do like to keep the relationship when it's a relationship that develops through a brand or a business related conversation. I do like to keep it like that. In terms of like our next catch up will probably be about something to do with business, about your business or mine. We'll keep it going like that. If I meet them in person and I'm already like in an informal mindset, like I'm getting drinks and stuff, then they'll see who I am and then I'll like have a chat with them. But that doesn't mean that going forward we're now going to do movie nights at each other's house. Like, that's not going to happen. It's just that if I see you and I'm out drinking, I'll get you a drink. Like, we'll be chilled, like, because I see you as a friend, right? But one thing I definitely don't do is have conversations for the sake of having a conversation, for the sake of keeping them in keeping myself in their mind, because then it just becomes a nonsense conversation. Then you're not like, I don't feel like I'm giving purpose to that person and I'm not getting anything back. But more importantly, I'm not giving anything beneficial to them. Because for some people, when you ask for their help, at the very least, you asking for help is a positive experience for them, because they get to exercise knowledge they have. They get to at least feel like they're doing good for someone else. And then if you return it when they say, I need help, something like you do the very least of just hearing them out before you say, I can't do it. And one thing I always do is if I say I can't do it, I explain why I can't do it. It's not just, oh, I'm not doing it. It's these are the reasons. This is what I'm working on right now. Yeah. But if these were the circumstances, and I'm honest about it, these were the circumstances, I would help. And then that way, when those circumstances come and I'm available to help, I will help them. We'll go with this anyway. But yeah, I don't have conversations for the sake of conversation's sake. I do try to maintain, if something interesting comes up on the topics that our relationship is based on, I'll probably like chat to them about it, like, oh, you heard about this, and we'll keep it going. But the goal in mind is either to see if they need my help for anything, or to basically go, oh, this is something I'm working on. Can we talk about it? We can have a conversation about that. That's the main thing. But I think the most important takeaway from that whole spiel is not forcing a conversation, because then you're just waffling. You know what I mean? You're just waffling. Like, you want, at the very least, especially like in the creative industry, wherever industry you're in, you want to be seen as someone who has valuable insights, or someone who's got like the kind of work ethic they want to collaborate with. And if you're constantly waffling and chatting crap, and there's so much opportunity for your lazy side to show, or your not so attractive sides to show in that conversation, especially when it's just early stages, you're trying to build a relationship. There's so much opportunity to fumble and just come across like a fool because you're just waffling. However, if you keep it on topic, if you keep it like, oh, this is the current focus on all these stuff, it works. If you do want to maintain a relationship with someone and you don't always have something to say, but you know that it's very important that you keep developing that relationship with someone, because what you need from them is bigger than what you'd usually just ask off the bat. Let's say I want like 10 grand. Yeah. And that person's got $1 million, but I want that 10 grand with $1 million. I mean, I wouldn't go make friends with people just for money, but still, if that was like, I wanted the investment, I wouldn't start the conversation with blah, blah, can I have 10 grand? I wouldn't do that. unless my idea is amazing, unless I've got like a proof of concept of all this stuff, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, let's say it with chess, like, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But what I would do is, if anything, ask them to be my mentor, or ask them to kind of guide me through a journey. So then this way, when you are having conversations with them, you're having regular conversations with them, and the topic's already preset because the journey is the topic. So now every time you check in, you'll be like, oh, this is what I've achieved. It's great. And every time you check in, it gives them an opportunity to be like, hey, can you just help me with this little thing we're working on as well? So this way, you're not just randomly messaging the person like, hey, how you doing? And then it's nothing. And it's like, oh, hey, what are you watching today? Oh, did you see that game? He just sat there like, bro, we're not best friends. Like, it's like, I met you yesterday. Like, why do you keep off it? But if you set the conversation of like, can you guide me through a journey? Then they're invested in your time. They're invested in who you are, your character. And sometimes you can have the conversation of, oh, this is the idea we're working on. What do you think of it? And then and then sometimes you could be like, in that conversation, you'd be like, oh, what was your weekend like? You had a good weekend. You could talk about the general stuff about your life, and then back to business, back to the focal point. And I think that's the best way to maintain conversations with really good contacts, to be honest, especially when they've got a skill that you want to learn, is position them as your mentor so they can follow your journey and guide you through that journey. Failing that, have the conversations when you need to have them. Don't just waffle for the sake of waffling.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's really good advice. One thing I did want to, going to move on slightly different. Because obviously as a, nothing your bullshit, man. Right. Fucking
go on.
So we're at the very beginning of our podcast. Yeah. We're at the start, and I think it makes sense to talk about the start, because I think that's something which my start must have been like remixed about 4 or 5 times, and I'm now getting to a point where this feels like the actual like start and being consistent, and it's something which is very, very common in sort of budding business owners, entrepreneurs, people who want to start a side hustle, things like that. So I think it makes sense for us to cover this topic early within our podcast journey, because there'll be people who will be following it with us. So I wanted to ask you, with your company, Anxious Extrovert, follow it on Instagram, follow us on the Studios as well, whilst you're at it. How did you start it? Was it a passion, quote unquote? Was it a opportunity that you saw, and you saw an opportunity in the market and you wanted to fill that gap, which is a very entrepreneurial thing to do? Tell me all about it.
Sure. So Anxious Extrovert, it definitely started off as a passion, and I think it started with the name more than the actual what we do. It started with the name because like that's what I think I am as a person. Very selfishly, I think I am a very anxious person. I do have my moments, but I'm also very extroverted, and I'm energized by people being around me. Although I have a very low social battery, I enjoy being around people. I'm excited to meet my friends. I'm excited to go for a pint sometimes and all this stuff. So for me, like I felt like that's what I am as a person. And then why I kind of thought of the name of, oh, that's perfect. And I went to see if it had been trademarked, and no one had. And I was just like, I didn't know one trademarked it. That's such a sick name. I was like, quickly, put 250 quid down, trademark that. And I was like, in my head, it's like, I'm going to do something with this name. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to do something. So I went through so many ideas. At first, it was like a student-owned clothing brand. But it always kept coming back to mental health and well-being, because that was the journey I was on. I was on like the self-discovery, understanding how my brain works, and I'm still learning more about myself each day. If I understand how I work, how I can optimize myself, how I can become a better version of me, and everything just kept coming to how can I tie stuff in with mental health? How can I link this in with mental health? And to a point where my whole entrepreneurship masters was about Anxious Extrovert. Every like module, I somehow try to do a piece of work that I can then take and then put in Anxious Extrovert. If it was like make a business model canvas, Anxious Extrovert would be the business I'm doing a canvas on. If it was reviewed as create like, I think even the final handle was like create an entrepreneur idea. Anxious Extrovert was basically the business I designed in that course. All that stuff kept coming back to this. So it was very much passion based. And then I settled on, if I keep like seeing, if I'm so excited about the name itself, the brand, and the idea of doing something in well-being and mental health, why don't I just make it an umbrella? And then I can just work on all these little ideas, like one at a time. I can come up with a clothing brand and see if that works. If it doesn't, put it aside. I can come out with an app. If that doesn't work, put it aside. And on that journey, I met a few a few friends, some devs on the way, from the previous company I worked at. And basically it was just like, hey, this is the idea I have. I really want to build a well-being like breathing exercise app. Like, can we give it a go? Can we like join the company together? As they join us, sign them up as like shareholders, all that stuff. Unfortunately, two people, one we had to convince to leave because he just wasn't given any work. And then the other one, his workload dropped as well. So we're just like, it seems like you did this because like I said about who you know what you can do, right? He did it because he valued the friendship we had. But then he also didn't want to like do any work. So I was kind of like, do you really want to do this? And he was just like, nah, but I also don't want to disappoint you as my mate. And I was like, I'd much rather you just left and we stayed friends. Then you stayed and you made a mess out of this. So he left. And now it's just down to me and Ollie. Ollie is essentially my CTO. He does all the code. Well, not all the code. I actually do quite a lot of the coding myself as well. But all the technical, like granular stuff, like the masterpieces that like make certain things work that I can't get my head around. Like certain code things, because I'm self-taught. Ollie's actually done it at uni. There's certain things he knows like the back of his hand. So I basically joined forces with him, and like previously with the other two guys, and my partner as well was on board for a bit. My fiance, sorry, it's easy to say my fiance was on board for a little bit. We worked on like a breathing exercise app, but then once it was live, I looked at it and I was just like, there's so many breathing exercise apps. Like, what the hell are we introducing to the world? Like, what are we doing that's going to help people? So I was like, ditch it. And like the team were frustrated, but I was just like, honestly, like if I'm going to like make business contacts and guide us to success, it has to be on something good. So we ditched that. Then we came up with, oh, why don't we start writing blogs and stuff? And then we were like, oh, there's something about that. So we launched a blog platform. It wasn't getting traction. So I was like, screw it, ditch that too. Back to the drawing board. What else can we do? And then we came up with Hub. And me and Ollie were like, this is what we need. Like we kept coming up with ideas when we realized that there's always someone coming up with ideas and there's always someone writing content. So if we care so much about it, why don't we make our first groundbreaking products that we go into market with a platform that allows or encourages people to do the same? And that's where we came with Hub by Extrovert. And that's currently what we're working on. But essentially, yeah, that's how we started. And it's hard. It's not easy. It's constantly like, we're now in a phase where we're going to go out to reach out to specialists. And we're going to say, hey, like, do you want to make content on our platform, all this stuff? And we are slowly starting to learn that a lot of people don't actually make their own content for well-being, which like the videos and stuff people do is them. But a lot of blogs and stuff, people are like, oh no, like, oh, I like to use ChatGPT to do this, or I like to do this. And I'm just sat there like,
AI, man, it's coming from.
I'm just sat like, the world is a lie. Like, what is going on here? Like, it made me feel a bit defeated and disappointed. And like recently, I've just been sat back like, this is what we want to do. But then me and Ollie looked at him and kind of went, no, because if we convince people to see the value in actually writing content and creating stuff, yes, you can use AI to support you wherever it is, but like if we convince them to actually write it and let them see the value of it and how it impacts their brand, we might be onto something here. So that's essentially the journey we're going on now. So we're going to basically show people like, hey, if you write this blog, put it out there and just leave it to us to get your name out there. Leave this to us and use our SEO powers to get your brand out there. We'll see how it goes. And that's the phase we're in now. And it's kind of hard because the website's still a bit buggy. There's things we need to fix. And it gets a bit draining when you feel like, oh, we're ready to go live. And then something else happens. You go, oh, we're ready to go live. And something else happens. It keeps feeling like a slap in the face. But I think we're going to get there. And I think we're onto something big now. We just need to get our heads together and push it to the finishing line. That's how it started. And that's where we're at now. What about you with XNDER Studios?
So for me, it's kind of been... I mean, I think it goes quite a while back, my interest to how I got into editing, specifically like video editing and more so film. So when I was younger, like at school, like this was when I was like 4, because everyone wants to be like a footballer, girls wanted to be like hairdressers and singers. I wanted to be an author, and I was the only one who had come out with this answer. And so I was really interested in storytelling and narratives, and kind of like that sense of escapism when you watch films. So I remember like when I first saw Avatar in cinema, I was like completely engrossed by it and I was like obsessed with it. And I like that escapism and I really like the narratives. And cut 10 years later, I mean, in between that time, I thought, oh, I need to do something that makes me money. I thought I'd do business. I thought I'd go into sales and things like that. Because again, sales is another form of storytelling. You're just selling something. So I thought I would be quite good at that. But I then went into sales planning, media planning, marketing, that sort of stuff. So everything I've done has been constructed around some sort of narrative. And now it's been very much focused on film. And it wasn't until it was when I saw the first Spider-Verse movie. And there were lots of like edits of it on like TikTok and YouTube. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I could do this, but better. So I downloaded some broken Final Cut Pro and I edited like a little Spider-Man montage thing, and it was sick, and I really enjoyed it, and I put in so many hours into it, and this is the first time I've probably skilled up on something for the sake of it. And if you think about what the economy is like, we're in the attention economy. Video is consuming everything. And I listened to a podcast, and it was like Mr. Beast's editor, and he said video editors now are what coders used to be in the .com era.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, this is something I actually really enjoyed doing, and it can make me money, and it's entertaining for people. So this is probably something I could probably do. And so when I did the first London Marathon, I thought I had a few years of being distracted and not really knowing what to do, because editing, I was kind of like being really inconsistent with it, and I was looking at like the mountain of things I had to do, and I was focused too much on comparison, and I just wasn't very much focused. I was very much focused on the end goal, not what the next step was. So the marathon was a good project for me to record my own content and cut that up and see what the process is like, and two, or B, I can't remember what I just said, it made me accountable to make sure I did training, because then I could record more things and it would go into my project. So the first London Marathon fit those kind of two purposes, and then I made that YouTube video. And that was the launch, that was like the relaunch of me doing editing, because the time difference between the first YouTube video I did, the Spider-Man one, and the London Marathon video was like two, maybe 3 years. I can't even remember. So that was like the hard launch, and actually me being loud about the fact that I want to edit, because I did the Spider-Man video and I didn't tell anybody about it. I told like my brother and like a couple of my mates, but I wasn't vocal enough about it because I was very much worried about people's opinions and looking shit. And now I'm very much at the point where I don't really care, because if I have any criticisms that come towards me, it's usually going to be by people who aren't doing the thing that I'm doing. And so why would I really care about their opinions? So I think caring about other people's opinions in comparison kind of locked me for a few years. And I think now it's kind of, I just don't really care. I just do what I want.
I have a challenge actually for you. Do you still have a link to that video? Do you still have the video?
Yeah, I still have it. It's on my YouTube.
I think you should put it at the end of this clip. I think that after the outro should just be the Spider-Man video. That's it. After the outro,
I'll do it.
I think you should do that.
We'll do it for the YouTube one. For Spotify, it doesn't really make much sense, but we can do that.
And then you know what? That means you have to watch the video as well. I know you love our voices. Come see our face.
We'll put it on YouTube.
Come see what we look like. Yeah, come to YouTube and look at it.
So editing, I found, was a way for me to construct the narratives that were in my head.
Yeah.
I know that sounds really weird, but I didn't really find it appealing, like sitting down and writing all day. I mean, being an author is something which I still might do when I've made bags and people want to listen to what I have to say. That might be something which I may do. But for me, it was kind of constructing narratives and also having that sense of escapism that film can provide. Editing is the perfect outlet for me to do that. It's not always fun. Like, editing is quite long and tedious, but it also fits the way that I like to work. Because I can just sit here, my own screens, and cut whatever, and I don't really need a lot of people to get involved as well. Too many cooks in the kitchen, as they say. So it seems to be that's the way I kind of see it going, and that's why I want to do it. So in terms of finally starting, I think for me it was much more of it was definitely stopping the comparison and kind of just doing the thing, which is something which I want to read out because I put it at the bottom of our notes and I absolutely love it. And yeah, in terms of how XNDER Studios came about, I mean, XNDER, one of my middle names is Alexander. So I thought XNDER, I was like, why not? It was kind of spur of the moment. And
hold on a minute. Hold on. What other middle names you got?
Oh shit. Yeah, so my full name is Lewis Jordan Alexander.
You are so posh. If anyone watched episode 1, this guy didn't even go to secondary school. What was it called?
Right, okay. I don't know why you keep thinking I'm posh, because this is not true. Because this is it's you know what's even worse now? The school I went to is now called, it's not even upper school anymore. It's called like Sharnbrook Academy.
Oh god, they got the academy treatment. Government came in when
I think it was right. We're not talking about this again.
Fine. But back to go on.
but XNDER, so what is right is XNDER is because I was thinking about the company for ages, and then someone took XNDER with an A. Like, because I was thinking about it too long. But you know what? I actually kind of prefer it now.
I prefer this one, you know. I prefer this. I love it when people do like the name. Because that sticks in your head more. It does also spell XNDER, but it sticks in your head more. Yeah. I like it.
Either way, but yeah, it's but now I think it's been quite good to kind of hone my skills and be consistent. Like, I know if I just open Premiere Pro, and I think for me as well, I need to have clear steps of what it is that I need to do. And I think that's what will help a lot of people on their journeys. And I think the main things are, I think it comes back to the outreach and just reaching out to people who do the thing that you want to do and get some of their advice. And I think you don't want to be stuck in what is called, analysis paralysis. And thinking about the thing too much, because although you need knowledge and skills and you need to do your research and things like that, you can't do too much of it. It's like when we started the pod, we had 2 calls and we talked about it, we discussed it, and I remember saying to you, like, right, next thing we're doing is recording. Because we could have talked about it for 10 hours and not done one episode. And it goes on to I was saying I want to read out this passage, which is from Strangest Loop, and it was on the Chris Williamson's podcast, Modern Wisdom. Ugh, fun with that. And here's a list of I know, but here's a list of things that are not doing the thing. Preparing to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Scheduling time to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Making a to-do list for the thing isn't doing the thing. Telling people you're going to do the thing isn't the thing. Messaging friends who may or may not be doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Writing a banger tweet about how you're going to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on yourself for not doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on other people who have done the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on the obstacles in the way of doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Fantasizing about all the adoration you'll receive once you do the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading about how to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading about how other people did the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading this essay isn't doing the thing. The only thing that is doing the thing is doing the thing. And I love that, because that attacked me so badly, because I pretty much have done all those things, apart from hating on other people.
All I'm saying is I feel seen and attacked.
Yeah.
And I don't like it.
It hurts so much.
Because most of that
I think it's
apart from hating on other people, I hate on myself a lot for not doing it. Like a lot. I never write a tweet about what I'm going to do the thing unless I'm indirecting someone.
I didn't write a tweet. I don't write a tweet. Yeah. But
I'm constantly telling people I'm gonna do something. And like what's that about the evil? What's that about the evil eye? Like sometimes when you say stuff out loud, it gets like it just goes to crap. And that's one thing I'm scared about with this podcast. It's like I'm going to speak stuff out and then it's just going to go to crap. But yeah.
One thing which I definitely learned to do, because there's a lot of people who say they're going to do the thing and nothing. They talk about it for hours, for like 2 days, and then they never do it. And this is what I'm saying. What I said to you off camera was the wantrepreneurs who just chat the most shit. The energy that you say that you're going to do the thing and doing the thing comes from the same tank. So you can actually feel productive talking about how you're going to do stuff without doing it. And this is why I keep my mouth shut until the episode is posted. Like, the only people who know about the podcast are my flatmates, my closest mates, and Rosie. That's it. I don't talk about it because...
Who's Rosie?
I'll let the work speak for itself. Rosie's the girlfriend. You know this,
Just throw names out. I ain't throw no one's name out. No one needs to know my fiance's name yet.
Oh, sorry. Shit. All right. Sorry.
But who's Rosie? You fool.
That's fine. But
it's cool.
That's fine. But
she's lovely, by the way.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, she might be a guest one day. Who knows?
I'll be sick.
When Sam's on another holiday, we might need to do it. But yeah, but yeah, I think honestly, working in silence, I think does the most. I think people find it draining when you talk about stuff and then you don't do it, because if all you have is one chance to say that, oh, I'm going to do this thing, and then you don't, and then for the rest of your life you're known as that guy who chat shit, or woman who chat shit, and I hate that. So, like with the pod, with the Mario video that the marathon video that I did, I didn't really tell anybody until it was like 90% done. I don't think there's a need to be loud until you actually have something.
I remember that video just dropping randomly. And you know what was weird about that? My brain was ready for like random Instagram reel. Oh, someone's at a party. Oh, your new girlfriend. Good for you. Oh, you're getting married. Oh, look who's pregnant now. I'm just scrolling. And then I hit like some cinematic masterpiece on Lewis, and I'm just like, what's going on here? What's going on? I'm not looking for Netflix. I'm looking for people's life stories so I could just do half a second judgment and scroll. I don't even like or comment on most people's stuff. I just look like, next. And then I saw it. I watched it like 3 or 4 times, just trying to get my head around.
Did you? Oh, cheers, man.
Yeah. So I was just like, what's Lewis doing? And then I looked at my fiance and was like, you see this? And she was like, yeah, what is he doing? And I was just like, I think he's becoming a video editor now. And then I looked at him thinking, Lewis, what's Lewis up there? And then I think I went on, you might have done one more video by the time like I started looking more into the XNDER Studio profile. And I looked in and I was like, oh yeah, he's in, because I think he did like it was one of those fast-paced clips, maybe? Was that what you did? Did you do like a video or something, or you did a story or something to explain like go follow XNDER? Somehow you like explained what you were up to, and I got what you were doing. But like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that was at the beginning of the marathon video.
Yeah,
I think.
That was it.
I think that was one of the clips.
That was it. I was just looking, at it, just thinking like, the fuck, Lewis? The fuck?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't, because the thing is, I like to set my own sort of personal deadlines.
Yeah.
And I think if I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna post this, and then all of a sudden, work gets in the way, life gets in the way, and then people are like, oh yeah, I mentioned you were gonna do that thing, and then you didn't. Oh
yeah.
Look how your dreams died. Like, I hate
it.
Whereas,
I hate it because I can see the happiness in their face, and I hate it.
Exactly. Like, where I was like, oh, you thought you were gonna be someone. Oh, you thought you cooked. Oh, it's that's like, a shame. Shame how your dreams didn't pan out. The thing is, no one will actually say that, but that's just the way I feel inside. So I don't chat shit until something's dropped. Yeah, I hate chatting shit.
I've done the same with the podcast. I think sometimes I chat about things because I'm worried it'll go wrong, and I know I'm not going to do it anyway, so I just say it.
Like Sam, we haven't even posted episode 1 yet, and I'm not telling people.
Literally, you're so right. I think the only person, so I've literally, same as you, I've told my fiance, I've told my closest friends. My mum doesn't even know I'm doing this. Like, my family don't even know I'm doing this. It's quite a small circle of people that know we're doing these podcasts, and I'm really excited for like to just start promoting it. Not say anything.
I'm excited to promote it.
And I would love for people to be like, "What was that? You and Lewis I saw on TikTok, or was that you and Lewis I saw on YouTube? Like, what's going on?" And I was like,
"Oh, are you starting for the Evolve podcast?"
Yeah, I'll be like, saying like, and then put my BMW i4 in sport mode and be like, saying like, bye. That's all I want. I just want to just drop it and keep driving. It's calm. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am excited by it, and I'm happy that we're just doing the thing now. Like, as we speak right now, we're recording. I love it,
man. And it's like I said, it's doing the thing that is the most important part. Like me, a few years ago, I would have read 5 books on how to become a podcaster and everything. I mean, to be honest, it's not even 5 years ago. I do that now for some things. Like I have books all about.
Yeah, I see them in the background. There's so many books.
Yeah,
who has books? Who reads about editing? Don't you just watch YouTube videos? I like to just watch videos to learn.
I mean, it's a combination of both. I'd literally find a YouTube video on books that editors have read that made them better editors. That's just me, because I'll just take a pen and just highlight. But yeah, man, do the thing. Whoever's listening and you're reading and you're procrastinating about doing the thing, you're stuck in analysis paralysis. Go do the thing, man.
Unless it's hurting someone, don't hurt someone. Don't go punch your ex's new man.
Do the thing.
Don't do that thing. All right. Some things need to be thought about, and the thing that before we go, that's actually quite important note. Like, think about the thing like for a bit before you do it. Don't think, oh, I want to be a race car driver and go steal a car. Like, don't take us that literally. Yeah, good caveat.
I hope people listening to this aren't thinking like, yeah, I am going to do that stupid thing. And they'll be like, it was the Evolve podcast.
They told me to do it. Lewis and Sam told me to do the thing. Just sat there,
Sam, before we go, I do have one last thing that I want to. Oh, we're gonna role play a bit. So I'm gonna say common. I'm gonna say common questions and statements about why people haven't started, and you're gonna give me the response to what you would say to that person.
Okay.
You understand? Cool.
Yeah. Is this fun?
So you ask me. So you ask me, why haven't I started the business yet? Okay. So go.
Oh, I have to ask you why you haven't started the business yet.
Ask me.
Okay, why haven't you started the business yet?
Oh, I just have no time.
Go do the thing. Oh my god! Let's go! I'm learning. I'm such a child.
Okay, but I won't let you repeat it too much. But I just have no ideas. I have no skills. How am I supposed to start?
Just go do the thing. Just start.
No, you can't do.
I thought,
Sam, it's not the right answer. What would you genuinely say?
Oh, well, okay. I was like, what are we doing?
This isn't a trick question. This isn't the question.
Okay. Start again.
Right.
So from that last one, I feel like do the thing was good for the first one anyway. But
I think it was good for the first one.
Go on.
Yeah, so I have no ideas. I have no idea what to start my business, and I don't really have any skills. So what should I do?
I think you need to first understand what you're aiming, what outcome you want your business to achieve. Outcome is the most important thing. What's the outcome of the business? And then work backwards from there. Each step, what do I need to achieve that step? If it's you want to be a billionaire, who's going to help you? Do you need a team to do that? Keep working backwards. And what at the very least you need before you start is a minimum value product, an MVP. What's the smallest thing you can do by yourself to encourage people, if need be, to support you to get to the next stage? Because what you do is plan what will your business look like in 6 years, or when you think it's made like $1 million or something like that. Work backwards, go to your stages. The first stage should be, what can I do on my own to get to stage 2? And then part of that would likely be, how can I get people on board? And then make sure you're doing enough to provide some kind of value. And when you have value, people are attracted to it. People want to help you. Next.
Okay. Interesting. I'm too afraid of failure.
Everyone fails. If you don't fail, you don't know nothing. Okay. People need to accept this. Like, you've got to fail to learn. Failing isn't an end. Failing is a step in development. Okay? Failing is the step in development. When you fail, you've learned not to do something again. You have personally experienced, because sometimes people telling you not to do something isn't enough. You need to experience what it's like to fail. And then you get to the next step. It's a development point towards success. It's not a setback. It might feel like a setback at that time. I promise you, I've had so many points where I felt like I've failed. I've looked back and I've laughed. And it's so genuinely true. I've literally sat there and I'm sat in bed with my phone. And I'm just like, eat my popcorn. That's literally me now. And I'm not even at my goal yet. So failing is not the end point. You will fail and it's okay because you learn something that will help you succeed in the future.
Yeah, it's not a straight line. It's not a straight line.
Definitely not. I don't know anyone who has. I don't know anyone who, from their perception, hasn't failed. And that's the thing. You think of what people look at you from the outside. Most people will know just. Most people don't know half the things I've failed. I don't tell people everything I failed at. A lot of people look at me. They'll see my car. They'll see like my house. They'll see my little cats. They'll be like, "Oh, he's doing well." I have messed up so many times on the way to this. Just this step. Let alone what I'm going to do in the future.
Next one. I'll do it later. I'm waiting for the right time to start my business or do X, Y, Z.
So you will do it later? Fine. Why are you delaying it? And what's the difference in starting now? Because I think you need to limit it to like 3. Because when you start getting into real excuses why you didn't start, it will be endless. You need to stop at 3. And then you need to wait up to like, well, what could you achieve by giving it a go? And then consider the fact that you are losing out on that success and that experience because you haven't started. And if it's fine, these are the benefits. If those benefits outweigh what you're going through now, if those benefits outweigh the fact that you've got like a nice team you work with and everyone's happy and you're really enjoying your time, then you need to start. You need to start now. Even at the littlest thing, make small progress towards that success. Get yourself invested in the idea and let the momentum build slowly. Because one thing that will annoy you is when you're 6 months into the journey, you will wish you were 1 year into the journey, and you would have been if you started 6 months ago.
Yep. You know what? This was very much me. I would say till about August last year, because I was waiting to start to deep dive into the company until, I got happy in my job and had more time. There is no perfect time to start a business ever. And so I remember I was focused on like applications and things like that. I was like, oh, once I'm happy here, I'll be able to do it. And happiness isn't a destination. You have to be. Happiness is acceptance of where you currently are. But Dad said that to me, and it hit home because it's so true. You have to accept where you are right now, and that's where happiness is. Happiness, the gap between happiness and your expectations, that's where frustration comes in. That's what causes stress. So it's your expectations of where you are that are stressing you out.
Oh, there was like this woman. I watched the show. I actually watched a panel talking to the Shits and Gigs guys. I told you about this. And this woman asked them a question. She was like, "Are you guys happy?" I think the alternative was fulfilled or something. I hope they watched this enough to correct me. I hope they watched this and correct me. But yeah, it was like, "Are you happy, fulfilled?" And James and Fuhad was sat there and they were just like, they are. What was it? I think they said they were like fulfilled. And then I'm fumbling this. I need to find it. I need to find it in the next podcast to talk about it. It was essentially one of them is fleeting and the other one stays for the long term. And I think happiness is fleeting or something like that. And like you need to basically maintain a certain level of joy. I don't know what you picked. Did you pick happiness? You didn't pick happiness, did you? What did you say?
Sorry, what was your question?
You said something about your dad asked you about happiness, or you talked to your dad about happiness?
Yeah, he said that happiness is basically you have to accept where you are in order to be happy. Because if you think happiness is a destination, once you've got X, Y, Z, you'll find new things to compare yourself to, or you'll move the pinpoint of where happiness is. And I think Mark Manson talks about this in The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck as well.
I found it.
Another book
plug. It's Happiness and Fulfillment. I googled it. We need to talk about that book. You know, when we need to talk about that book in another episode, because I love it and I hate it for the craziest reasons. But I love and hate that book.
We could do that. We can do that in the next one.
Yeah,
I know we said we were going to talk about Cal Newport's book as well. We'll cover that in a later one. But I want to talk about starting in this one.
So the quote is, when people ask you what are you, happy or fulfilled, people naturally want to run to being happy, right? And there is a right and a wrong answer to this. Happiness isn't the right answer because happiness is fleeting. fulfillment is longer lasting. It's being it's being comfortable and happy about the state, or it's accepting the state you're currently in and being optimistic about the future. So being fulfilled is basically just saying that, you know what, this is who I am. I've got what I've got, and I know I can do better, and there's comfort in that. Being happy is just a short-term state of mind. Happiness is almost like a side effect of moments of fulfillment. And I think so. The right answer is you should aim for fulfillment, not happiness. And if you're fulfilled by default, there is many moments of happiness. But the journey of life is you're not always happy. There's ups and downs, and sometimes you're happy because you've come out of a downward period, and that's just it. It's fleeting. It'll come and it'll go. Fulfillment is looking at the graph from like a wider perspective. Like the graph of happiness side is like this. Fulfillment is all the way to the top.
I think
that's what you should aim for.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of synonymous in terms of what people define as happy. Because I look at happy when I refer to happiness, I'm pretty much referring to that. I think when people ask, "Oh, are you happy?" It's very much at this very particular moment where I'm asking you.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? It's very much a
I see what you mean. Yeah, but that's it. So in this very moment, today I might be sad, but I am fulfilled. I would say right now I'm fulfilled.
Yeah, absolutely. You can be pissed off, but overall you could be happy for sure. Yeah.
I can be pissed off, but then I've also got running water and food. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think definitely having I have this quote on my wall. It's have an attitude of gratitude, and I think that's very important going ahead. I think if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have a lot to be grateful for. You probably have a house. You probably live somewhere with a roof over your head. There's always stuff to be grateful for.
Exactly.
So I think having that can definitely change your perception on current events. And I've actually done it. Like as much as my job can piss me off, I'm still grateful for it. And I think it's important to note that as often as you can, because when you're in a negative space, you can view everything as negative. And very much, I very much came to the realization happiness is very much a choice as well. And you need to trick your brain into seeing things positive. Your brain's very good at picking out things that are negative because of the whole like survival instincts. It's very good at picking out negative things as opposed to positive. So that's something which I've definitely learned over the course of probably very recently. I'm not perfect. I'm still working on it. But yeah, we've chatted shit for 75 minutes.
We've waffled, and I hope there's some gems in there.
This one's been quite good.
Yeah,
this has been way better.
The first one really was a good first attempt. The first one that was a good one.
You know what? We did that in one take. We take one take for these episodes. We don't retake nothing.
No, I don't reshoot. I refuse to reshoot. I'm a diva. I refuse. I'm not coming back.
You're on your queen shit.
Exactly, I'm on my queen shit now. And I went gym early. I'm tired. I need to get a coffee. Anyway, let's do the outro.
Right, guys.
Do your thing.
Guys, Instagram, The Podcast Evolve. TikTok, The Podcast Evolve. The Podcast Evolve on YouTube. If you listen on Spotify, give it 5 stars, please. That's preferable. If not, come correct or don't come at all. YouTube, like, subscribe. Sam, anything to add?
Nothing. Nothing at all. No, you're gonna. Because episode one, I was out there cussing girls I don't even know, telling them to stay out my DMs. And then I showed a video to my fiance, and then she looked at me like, "Who the hell do you think you are? Like, who do you think you are? Mind your business."
This week, DMs.
This week, show her what I've got. Show her people want me. Slide in. I'm not going to respond though. I will block you. But you know what I'm going to do? Hey, babes, look, block. Babes, look, block. I love you long time,
you're going to get in trouble for this.
I fully am. I'm so sorry. Right. Guys, stay the fuck out of my DMs, okay? I was joking. I love her so
guys,
much.
Also follow our companies, Extrovert on Instagram and XNDER Studios, XNDER.
Yes.
See you guys next week.
Peace. Love you. Bye.